So it's I reveal a secret that the prehab routine is basically all the essentials of the prehab program, which you continue as a prehab routine before every upper body workout, you know? And I always, and I think as a trainer, if you teach calisthenics, this is the most important one to let people know that this process is unfortunately not that simple as they see on Instagram.
Yeah.
That they start with the progressions and they do it right away, but they have to prepare the body. And I think that's why it's important to know the anatomy and know which joint how works.
It's fantastic that you highlight how important it is with the joint and tendon health, not only for beginners to prevent maybe any type of adverse effects when they're first starting, but it's also a key part of everyone's program. I think that's a major takeaway.
And that's why it's really specific. But that's one thing. And the other is, since it's a supplementary work, usually it's more, the weights are more like a regression than a progression. So if you do, like, if you want to learn an inverted cross, you know, upside down, holding the cross, it's much easier to grab two weights and do the inverted press than to do anything else. So that's why it's really a regression. It's basically the load is nowhere close to the real exercise that you want to achieve, but still you need that. And I think, you know, anybody can try it with like a 5-pound small dumbbell, that even if you do it with those small weights, you will feel your shoulders, your elbows in a different way than ever before, because it's so like a specific movement. Because I'm sure you did mistakes, I made mistakes, and we learned, and we still do it, and we are still young. And that's what I say, that when people ask me, like, I'm 40 years old, am I too old? No, like, imagine yourself 2 years later with 3 sessions a week, and you'll be much better than now. And that's the point. So you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else, but you'll be able to do so much stuff, and you'll be, you know, satisfied for sure. Because if you do it consistently, you'll get the results. I mean, and that's the other thing, that sometimes people come and they say that, okay, I tried the prehab and it's easy, so can I go on? And I say that, and I think that was the most useful advice that I could tell, that consider this as a deload period. So if you consider it as a deload period, then they know that it's going to be better after, because deload is always good for, you know, having some rest and more recovery. And after that, you can actually crush it.
Yeah.
So
I also think people need to consider when things get easy as a form of progressive overload. I think people always have this belief that it needs to be soul crushing, challenging, hard, every session, just dying. But that's not the case. It's like, if the quality of the movement is better, if it feels easier, then it means that you're mastering that pattern. And then you're going to be able, as you said, to set a new level with time.
We see all these trends and fancy stuff that, you know, like, it's the showtime, and many people think that this is the way to train. But and sometimes when I go to the park or in the gym, I see people to train from Instagram. So they see like a carousel post, and they swipe, and, you know, like, because trainers do it, and they just, okay, I go to Instagram and I'm gonna do this workout. So the most successful people, like in gymnastics or in any sport, they do boring stuff to get there. Since gymnastics is that complex and teaches you so many things, these people were always like down to earth and calm, and they were really, really empathic and all this stuff, you know, because if you go through these like pain and struggle and all this stuff, then you'll be a humble person. And I think this is a really good side benefit of, you know, doing training and actually gymnastics.
That's great, because you almost have to yield either way. Like we just said, with the strength example, you have to overcome, I guess, the resistance in a really brute force type of way. Whereas with the calming stuff, you have to yield into, say, your natural inclination to just hold on as well.
Yeah.
Nice.